7 o'clock, we'll call this meeting to order. First up, is there any conflict of interest on the agenda for anybody? No? Okay, adoption of the agenda is presented. Travis, the seconder. All in favor? Carried. 4-1, adoption of the minutes from the September 17th meeting. Travis, do we have a seconder? Opposed? Any errors or omissions? No? All in favor? Carried. 4-2, special meeting September 24th. Ed? Andre, seconder. Any errors or omissions? Nothing? All in favor? Carried. Down to delegation 7-1. White Nickel. Come on up by the rail.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for hearing my complaint today. And just to clarify on the complaint, it read that I was representing the Gravelbourg Hornets. While I do represent the Hornets as a delegate on the Rec and Culture Committee, in this matter I also represent minor hockey, both Trim and Sharks Rec Hockey and minor ball, as all are having the same issues and have the same complaint. Listed in my complaint is an inclusive list of areas which bylaw 1396-14 Sports Rec and Culture Advisory Committee bylaw has been circumvented. Prior to 2019, the committee was led to believe that it was little more than a communication tool and that it didn't have a lot of say or influence in actions taken by council or actions taken to council. In fall of 2019 and our regular meetings, we reviewed the bylaw which was attached in the complaint and realized that there are actually several duties and responsibilities which the people on the committee were there for. The biggest examples, to my knowledge, of the circumvention, or one example would be the budget. Last year we did attempt to review the budget item by item in order to approve it for submission to council. Committee decided not to vote to approve the budget because of several issues that we had with the budget, including utility expenses comparable to other facilities, capital asset purchases being entirely budgeted in the year that they're purchased versus any depreciation or spreading out the costs. Arena workers and salaries, which we believe we are heavily overstaffed, double overstaffed at the arena to what we think we should be, and the inclusion of the town foreman salary of $20,000 in the sport and rec and culture budget. So those, among other issues, the committee had requested feedback and follow-up on before we would approve and chose not to approve, yet the budget did follow through to approval without the committee's go-ahead. We believe it is the accountability of the CRC to ensure that the bylaw be followed and that the committee have its proper jurisdiction and its proper say on council, on members, or on decisions and proposals brought to council and the decisions being made. Unfortunately, right now, many of the user groups, the ones that I listed included, tend to be very dissatisfied with decisions, and that dissatisfaction is deferred back to council decisions. When we realize now that council decisions are made based on what should be the recommendations of our committee and its delegates through the CRC to council. So according to the bylaw, we also believe that we should have some say in staffing at the arena and staffing when it comes to the Culture and Rec Committee. We believe, as I said, we believe we're overstaffed and could reduce costs that way. The items that I mentioned would total $50,000 to $100,000 in discrepancy, and that was the reason for the council not approving the budget to go forward to council for approval last year. We believe many, if not all, of the proposals that go to council regarding policy fees and, policy and fees are the biggest things, are not being approved by council, and therefore the dissatisfaction is happening. In order to restore the bylaws into the proper use and to satisfy the committee and the user groups. We believe that a change needs to be made to the staffing of the CRC and possibly to the facility as well. And we believe that pursuant to, I believe it's item 3G, that we have influence in the staffing, that the committee be consulted and be part of the decision in finding a suitable replacement. Thank you.
Any questions for Dwight?
Nope.
Anybody got anything you want clarified?
When I look at the bylaw, a lot of it is, what the committee is on as an advisory.
Correct.
You making the recommendations, but ultimately the council makes the final decision.
Correct.
And that would include the budget and staffing. It does state in here that on G, that the committee may recommend to the council the need for additional staff. So, but doesn't necessarily make recommendations to how much staff and whether the foreman's involved in that. So just kind of a clarification.
Right, and those are the clarification points that we are looking for as a committee in order to approve the budget. How the decision was made and the amount, and for example, with the foreman's, like, is that distributed over multiple budgets? Or why was the decision and how was it decided that that figure
Is in there?
be resulted in that budget?
The wages are divided up, the foreman's wages are divided up amongst all the different departments. Public Works, general government, all those.
So divided equally amongst all, or how is it?
Well, percentage-wise, I'm not too sure. Susie, you know what the percentages are?
It is. You know what, that's a little while ago since I worked on that. So I know, like you said, yours is 20, and other places is like 15 and 15, and it's just broke down in the GL, so I could get that for you later.
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess that was where the question came from, was how was that determined and why was that included in there? In regards to the amount of staff, the staff has increased over the years in the facility. And the question is, if the recommendation isn't coming from the committee and being approved by the committee, that the decision is still being made, and the committee comes back and says we're overstaffed and that is unnecessary expense, then what is our repercussion to manage our expenses?
I have a question.
Who's on the committee? You have to speak up.
Who's on the rec? Like, councilors should be two of you.
Lou and
Lou.
Giselle.
You go to meetings? Oh,
Speak up, guys.
And who else is on the rec board?
Oh,
From the
there's one
town?
from the RM. Who would be on the RM?
Yvonne Sutherland,
Nick Bouvier represents
Okay.
the
Are you the only one from town council?
And Bob.
Oh, Bob, oh, okay. Right.
who all's on the rec committee, Cassandra?
We've got Yvonne Sutherland, Dominique, Craig, Dwight, Bo Cornett was on the rec board, but he's stepped down. We're waiting for a replacement for him. And,
I believe it was listed and actually recently changed the number of representatives.
yeah, before my return from maternity leave, they had requested to council to increase the number of members at large for 2 additional members, which was approved. There wasn't any meetings after that point where there was, or for my understanding anyways, since that point, that before my return, they may have talked about it, but there wasn't anybody pre-appointed. When I returned, COVID was happening, we were instructed not to have meetings. We've attempted to have 2 meetings the last couple of months, but haven't been able to make quorum.
Aaron MacArthur was the other one that was added as a representative for the theater.
Oh, and I didn't have that record, sorry.
Anything else for Dwight?
So what I'm hearing is the idea of try and get back to what the functions is in, according to what the bylaw is, having
Yeah,
meetings and
Yeah,
getting together.
I'm not requesting change to the bylaws, I'm requesting that the bylaws be followed, and that, that advisory and, consultation process be restored versus decisions being made without advisory or consultation from user groups.
So with because it's not gonna be very long now, we're gonna be, or new council will be looking at next year's budget. So you guys will be in the process now to start having meetings and talking about that?
I believe as long as the rules are approved, that's.
Well, it's not so much a rule, because the rules are there, it's already.
No, as long as the COVID rules don't restrict it from
Right,
happening,
yeah,
that.
yeah, and that's gonna be kind of that outliner for you guys and for us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand that, the reason being this year, the lack of meetings and things with transition and COVID and things.
Right.
I believe it's
Yeah.
stated in the bylaw that there should be 10 annual meetings.
Yeah, yeah.
That, the budget be part of those.
But it's understandable with COVID that that wasn't possible. None that I can think of yet. at this
No.
point.
All right, thank you then, Dwight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more discussion on it? What's that?
There's a lot to go through yet.
Well, yeah, the bylaws got to be going through and we've got
I
to
think,
get back on track with it.
yeah, what I look at, it's about getting back on track and following what the bylaw would be set up. Make sure it does.
As far as the staffing, I don't know how we can reduce staffing there. It takes 2 people to run it.
It's a unionized staffing position too, like it was before.
Yeah. But it's always been 2 people in that.
Yeah. So, yeah, what's his name, like 3 hours a day for one. Bill Christensen.
Oh, and Bill was there, yeah.
Yeah, it's just 3 hours a day and Al did the rest.
They for 10 hours, but 1 person for 10 hours.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they do everything. All right, we'll refer that back to administration to look into it. Then,
Organize some meetings, you know, to have some input from that committee.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Get
Yes,
it.
know
that might
Cassandra, I know Cassandra sent out things saying you're gonna have a meeting, and saying, you know, got an email saying couldn't get a quorum, so.
Yeah,
This year, maybe, hopefully next year will be better.
It was about that time of year too, you know, it was stuff in harvest and.
But the COVID really,
but, well, you can have Zoom meetings, like, I have Zoom meetings now instead of going to places, so it's possible to have a meeting at different times too.
yeah, it's possible if the people wanna show up, but when you,
But there's no sense having a meeting till after the election.
Oh, yeah, well,
So,
yeah.
on the thing, on the committee.
Yeah.
Cassandra, you gotta weigh in on something?
I just wanted to make mention that we did actually offer for the rec board meetings to be both Zoom and in person. We were gonna set up the laptop so that Zoom was an opportunity for anybody who didn't feel comfortable to come in.
Mhm.
So that was an option that was on the table.
Yeah.
The other thing with that too was I was trying to relay some information of what was going on. I didn't receive any feedback. So, one of the big examples for that was the COVID response for reopening the arena. I had sent that out to the rec board 2 weeks prior to our booked meeting, didn't get any feedback. I ended up having 3 personnel from the rec board show up for one of the meetings. We couldn't officially have a meeting, but we did have an opportunity to have a discussion about our COVID reopening plan before I brought it to council. That's the most information I have gotten from the rec board in the last 6 months since I returned.
So is the rinks open now for October?
It will be, we're gonna be turning on the plant on the 14th.
Okay, because minor hockey actually rented Cairnport, did they not?
I did see that,
At the
yes.
beginning of this month.
Yeah.
So why couldn't we be open at the beginning of this month?
Because council did not want to do it.
That was,
Speak up, everybody.
we weren't offered the timeline.
There was.
Yeah.
Council was given the option of starting the arena for October 1st.
Oh, okay.
So, and I apologize, I wasn't at that meeting, so I don't know what the background discussion on that was.
Yeah, we
But
were
that was an
offered
option.
Well, we
Council
weren't
didn't
sure
want to do
how,
that early.
what the government was doing, but we always wanted to follow what they would say.
And we still don't know what the government is
We
doing.
were waiting for
unfortunately.
minor hockey schools to,
Yeah,
still
there
there
were
were hockey games going on, so.
Yeah, we were waiting for SHA to,
Yeah.
and they still haven't dropped their stuff yet either.
I believe, like I was talking to somebody, Kincaid's rink is not opening until the same time as ours, actually, for flesh, and it's in the way already around the same time. Cairnport is a year-round ice, they have training there all summer, so.
Hmm.
When I
Is there
travel
no-
to Cairnport or Moose Jaw, and
Mosaic Ice and Moose Jaw doesn't have ice yet either.
And there's nothing to say that if the COVID rules relax come spring, we can't keep the rink open for 2 extra weeks
No.
in the spring.
No, minor hockey's big push with this is their older age group teams, if this would have been a regular year, they would have been allowed to start playing games that last week in October, October 30th. If we're not ready for the ice that last week, they haven't had an opportunity to play with their teammates before they go and start playing games. But again, into the overall account for this year, because of COVID, we still don't have permission to start playing games. And we don't know what kind of timeline they're gonna give us. They might give us a 2-day, yep, you can go ahead. They might give us a 1 month, okay, you can start getting ready for it. So, well, we haven't been given any insight on what's happening with that. But I have talked to a couple of AAA coaches, in Swift Current, and they don't believe that games are gonna start until December. So, looking at the bookings that minor hockey has supplied us with right now, yes, there's probably only enough work for 1 staff member. But on the days that they wanna run camps, I need 2 staff members for sure. I can't run a 13-hour day with 1 staff member working a maximum of 10 hours and needing time to clean and maintain the ice. So we do need at least 2, we have 2 staff members plus 1 casual.
So at 8 o'clock in the morning, did something happen there? Like, did, not their job go, I'm guessing 11 o'clock in the morning, say, and then work 8 hours? Like, I mean, the rink is open, but what's actually happened? Some hockey
But if
players
somebody
start
needs
at
to-
9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
some
some-
do, yeah. I mean, do our people have flexibility in their time?
They do flex their time of when they start, but you can't split shift them and not have anybody for represent, or not from the town not representing, or being at the rink. We still have to run the Zamboni every hour, hour and a half, depending on what's going on. Right now, we're gonna be cleaning in between every group. That's gonna be a really big task this year for that, making sure that we have everything clean and sanitized between the next group comes in to meet regulations.
So, and that's up to us, to the town, to take care of that. It cannot be done by volunteers from the hockey players.
If council decides to change the unionized positions, that could be an opportunity, but I can't give away staffing hours to volunteers right now,
Okay.
because they could agree to that.
We can use volunteers, we just can't displace a worker.
That's right, yeah.
So we can't say we're only gonna use one of the workers for 20 hours a week and use volunteers.
They're still paid for 40.
They have to get to 40 hours a week. Otherwise, we'll have a union down our neck.
So when the rink is open, so I'm not a hockey mom, when the rink is open, is there always every day something going on?
Normally there is, yes.
Oh,
It's pretty rare that we have a slow day, and if we do end up having a slow time or open ice, we run public skates or public scrimmages, so that those who aren't part of the hockey associations have an opportunity to come and utilize our ice.
Anything else? We're gonna make a motion to refer it back to administration to see that the bylaws, the committee is run properly by the bylaw.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Andre,
I'll second.
Ed will second it. All in favor? Carried. 8.1, general information, news release from the government of Saskatchewan.
Make a motion to file and receive.
Travis, seconder Lou. All in favor? Carried. 9, committee reports. 9.1, CRC report. ISIP grant. I'll make the motion for option 1. Lou, a seconder.
so is it something new? Is this just came out?
I'm not sure, is it, Sandra?
So this is a bit of a new branch off of the ICIP grant. that was open before. There is a few different restrictions with this one than what they had offered last time, so this is additional COVID funding that the government is giving the program. So originally, I was hoping we would have the opportunity to apply for the water replacement system and the brine lines of the rink, but the rink doesn't qualify for this grant because we have to have a minimum of $100,000 project.
So this is not the same grant that we were rejected for a little while?
It's very similar to that, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
there's just a
different
few,
stream.
yeah, so there's just a few projects that we had applied for before that wouldn't qualify, but this one still would. And because I had already started looking into it and talking with Dustin about it, I figured I would offer that, because we don't have Susie's really busy right now.
So it's not affecting, like, okay, because our other option, our other application is still in.
No, the other application was denied.
Yeah, I know, and Joan said it's still.
It doesn't just
It's
get put
denied
back in,
and
you have to resubmit. And that was clarified in with this, that even though you had put an application in, you still have to
Okay, we
resubmit.
were told by Joan that it's in for the next recovery of money. I know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, she said that.
did she say that?
No, it was dead, we had to reapply again.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyways,
I think
this is,
what you were speaking of, is they'll reapply because we had applied, we have a higher standing.
Because they ran out of money, so they
Yeah.
were told
Yeah.
to just put it back in.
And I think that's where this comes in.
okay.
You're gonna fine tune it, I guess,
Yeah,
and then, okay.
Yeah, because at first, when I was looking at this, I thought, well, I don't see where we qualify, but it's under the green infrastructure.
yeah,
And there's just not many lines, but it does talk a lot about water, wastewater.
yeah, and that's what Joan had used to apply for it before.
Yeah, so we have to make sure that it's well-defined in our argument to them, because it seemed like it was more towards reducing greenhouse gases.
Yeah. So I do think that we could qualify for it again.
Well,
Sometimes
it
it's just
seemed
a
like
matter
it,
of,
yeah.
they only got through the list of so many grants before they approved, and then everybody else gets left behind.
Under
So-
that application, it says previous application submissions will not be automatically advanced to this intake.
Exactly,
It should
That's why
be-
we have
it
to
should be
reapply.
yes or no, so then you know, like you're not duplicating something.
so they may still open up the ICIP grant again in the future, but not the COVID-19 ICIP grant with it, so,
And we got a month to get that going.
Yeah.
But you-
yeah, and I've got the notes from,
Because they-
that Joan had put in before, so.
Anything else? All in favor? Carried. 9.2, Southwest Transportation Planning Council report.
I think yes.
It's a good report that shows that the Highway 43 is still going, and even parts of around Neville and other areas
You got that
are
last
expanding.
Yeah.
I had to read it a few times.
Yeah, the tender's up. That's all, just kidding,
Tender is out for what? It can't be that.
Highway 43.
For Highway 43 up,
That's
The
it.
sign is up in,
yeah.
No, it's down now.
it's down now.
Did you knock it over?
No, it's election year, you had to take the sign down.
Oh, yeah.
And then go back up after.
Go back up after, well, whoever gets it.
Yeah.
Highway 43 West has been surveyed probably 35 times in 30 years.
Okay, we need a motion for this.
It's not even the same sort.
Ed, what's your motion?
To accept. Receive.
Receive and file?
Yeah.
Seconder, Darcy, all in favor? Carried. 9.3, South Central Municipal Association. I just threw that in because they sent me an email saying that it was being canceled, the AGM, because of the COVID. So I'll make a motion to receive and file. Bruce? He's got a faster spring. Lou seconded, all in favor? Carried. Financial reports. Accounts for approval, AP batch 2020-0066. Check number 17587 was issued by mistake, so it's voided. Winter. Any questions on it?
I just have one question for the account 17582, the 200,906 for 7,844, water usage history. Can you explain that, what that is?
That is for the water plant monitoring system that was under the MEP funding. So that's the upgrade to the PLC, the change in the programming, the new screen. And it gives us on the app the ability to log the usage every 24 hours, every week, every month, every year. So it's automatically logged for us, so there's no more writing down numbers. And with the COVID, we're not allowed in Saskwater's water plant right now to document our own usage, so this app now does it for us. Every night at midnight, it records the previous day's usage, and it keeps it for years
Okay,
now.
okay, thanks.
Anything else?
Well, it might be a good thing, because I was looking at this, at what we got from Dustin, you know, and it's so all over the place, and you just wonder, you know, how do they read the meters? For example, I was looking at August in 2018, the town billing for that month was 29,465. Then the year after, the same month, August, it was 50,739. And then this year, it's 64. And you wonder, in the same month, there must be something wrong. Like, one year it's 29,000 and 50,000, and then 64. Don't you think
Last year, August, our billing should have been a minimum, which is 53,000 before taxes.
that's
So
the billing.
58 something after taxes. This year, in August, we were over our minimum. We were 8,400 cubic meters instead of
64.
8,400.
Oh, it says he's 60. August, 64.
64,000.
Yeah,
You're talking dollars and he's talking.
Yeah.
he's talking.
Oh.
Yeah, we were 84 or 8,600 cubic meters, so we were over our minimum. So
Yeah, okay.
we were charged actual usage instead of just our minimum.
Yeah, because but if you compare the last 3 years, you know, you think, eh,
It's been a lot drier.
it makes no really sense when you look at the numbers. So I hope that with this new thing, that it, you know, will show.
Yeah, I can double check the numbers from 2018. If there's a 29,000 in August, that doesn't
Yeah,
seem
no,
right.
that's right.
So-
That's what I thought of it,
The-
in August.
The only thing, Joe, is if you look at September, it's kind of reversed. Like if you look at 2018, it's a high
Yeah.
number, and then down there is a low number. It's kind of, maybe it missed something,
Yeah,
but got caught up type of thing.
okay, yeah, I see that,
Well, with this, you
Okay.
know, it'll be a lot more accurate, because now we can
Ye-
report it daily.
Yeah, if you looked at those graphs that I just sent you
Yeah.
a couple days ago
Yeah.
this week, they fluctuate so bad, and it's because the timing that they are taking the reading at the water plant is kind of random. When the staff used to do it, it used to be kind of within the same half hour every day. And then sometimes the staff at the water plant now takes it at 8:30, sometimes they take it at 1 o'clock, sometimes it's 2:30, and so that causes a huge discrepancy. And then with that app now, it is midnight every night. So it is 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. So, and with that, our usage has been almost identical every day,
Okay.
within 20 cubic meters every day.
So if there's a leakage, you would notice right away.
It should be easier to notice, yes.
Okay.
That's one of the things that I really wanted with this app, is because it's the same time automatically. So if suddenly, if there's 30 or 40 cubic meters out of the normal, then there's something that's changed. As well, I can set the pressure alarms a little different, a little tighter, so that even when the fire department opens a fire hydrant within 30 seconds, I know.
Okay.
So,
So
That's good.
the water that you've been taking from the fire hydrants to put down the sewer, you kind of have to watch that so we don't if we're using less than 77, you take what you need, I guess.
Correct.
If you're taking 1,000 over, that's, nobody's paying for it.
Yeah, if, that's another thing I wanted this out for, if we are 6,700 cubic meters, then I have 1,000 cubic meters
Yeah.
that I can put down sewers, I can wash streets, and it can go anywhere, even if it goes into that pond to help residents out. It's, we at least get our minimum that we're paying for,
Okay,
right? So,
I'm good.
Thanks.
Anything else? All in favor? Carried. 11-2, batch 2020-00068.
I'll make the motion.
Ed, seconder, Lou? Any questions on it? No questions, all in favor? Carried. 13, new business. 13-1, request for property of 101 Fifth Avenue East.
For the motion to discuss it? Or how would you?
Gotta make a motion
Oh,
for something, not just discussion.
make a motion to accept his
And we kind of was defeated,
and
we
then,
don't like it.
yeah.
Yeah, you just did.
I'll make a motion to accept the proposal of putting a sea container on that commercial property, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, as with our residents, we don't allow it.
But he also wants to put a residence in the back of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have.
Somebody has to second it, so.
Yeah.
So did you want to also include the residents into your motion?
No, because that doesn't matter to us. Like, we have people in commercial property that have residences, they still pay commercial property.
Yeah, so, so the motion is on the sea can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you second that?
I'll second.
Who seconded? All in favor?
No.
I got some questions.
Can I ask, Susie, how does that work when you have commercial and residential together?
Okay, what happens here on Main Street, because it's mostly on Main Street?
Yeah.
You know, the taxes do charge both, you know, commercial and residential, but we have a resolution in place that we remove the residential portion off the taxes, because it's considered a double base tax.
Oh,
Okay, that's how it works.
So then they pay commercial tax over the whole property, or?
That's correct,
Okay.
that's correct. Plus the portion of the residential